What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up and Chat. My name is BJ Mathews, a.k.a. B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Spotify, Iheartradio, Twitter, TikTok, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos. Hit the notification bell. Buy the subscribe button. Let's get it popping. All right, look, still staying locked in, still staying, consistent, giving y'all high-quality videos, Definitely appreciate all the tuning in that y'all been doing and subscribing. Continue to stay locked in with the channel, We're going to continue to give you great work. Really much appreciated. God bless. But let's get into it. The LA Clippers, more news out within the last 24 hours. And really, it just confirms what they are, man. They are a organization that keeps things in-house. They don't want nothing getting out because, number one, that's who they are. That's their culture. That's the culture they've built the last couple of years. And they don't want the opponents to have an advantage, right? So they're strategic. And what has been broken now the last 24 hours that I'm about to, detail, I'm pretty sure some of y'all heard it. Probably a lot of y'all didn't hear it. But number one, of course, Norman Powell, the guard for the LA Clippers, came from Portland Trail Blazers in a trade with Robert Covington, suffered an injury on his foot last month against the Dallas Mavericks when he came to the Clippers for the, first few games. And he was in a walking boot for the last 2-3 weeks. I actually saw Norman about 3 weeks ago at the Honey Training Center at the LA Clippers practice facility, right, in Playa Vista. He didn't have a walking boot right then. So they put the walking boot probably about literally 2.5-3 weeks ago. That walking boot has now been removed. They removed it a couple days ago, and he is now walking without a boot on. So that's clear indication that they are starting to, work him back into, basketball form and stuff like that, which is good news for the Clippers because Norman Powell, once everybody's healthy and everybody gets back, Norman Powell is going to be such a big, vital piece to this team. He's going to be coming off the bench most likely as a sixth man, but Norman Powell can start on 50% of the teams at least in the NBA. He was starting on the Portland Trail Blazers before he got to the Clippers. So he's well known. He can shoot. He can score. He can get to the basket. He's a tenacious defender, and he's a great teammate. So it's the Clippers from 1 to 12 just seem to have very depth and, grit on their team. And that's why they've been able to survive and the whole season without Kawhi and Paul George and a number of injuries in and out. But great news for the Clippers. Norman Powell is out this walking boot. And I think he'll be probably back somewhere the first week of April. That's when they're, targeting to have him back. Now, here's the kicker. Yesterday, I was watching Undisputed with Skip Bayless, and he revealed some news about Kawhi Leonard. Now, this is what I mean. Like, you got to watch what they do and not what they say. I'm going to be honest. I'm not specifically sure about how the NBA, how it works. I never played in the NBA. So I don't know exactly how those guidelines are with, do they have to reveal every single little bit of detail about all their players, or can they keep certain things in-house? Because this is the thing. Kawhi Leonard has not been clear for contact. At least that's what's been, put out in the media. He hasn't been clear for contact. We saw him on the court against the Golden State Warriors in a practice setting pregame right before the game between the Clippers and the Warriors a week and a half ago, which, of course, I said I thought was weird because usually when you go through a workout like that, I understand sometimes when you're not players that shoot around, but the way he worked out was not something where they're just doing it for just because. They were doing it for a reason to see where he was at in his rehab and his schedule. And it was an hour and some change workout. He said he looked good. He was able to go through all the progressions and stuff like that. So he looked good. Now, wasn't clear for non-contact since then. Here's my thing. Skip Bayless, well-known on Undisputed, probably the most well-known personality in the sports industry right now. Skip Bayless on Undisputed. Revealed that Kawhi Leonard has not only been playing 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and 3-on-3, but 5-on-5. Now, I didn't know he was playing 5-on-5 because it was only reported he was playing 1-on-1 and 2-on-2. Skip Bayless said that Kawhi Leonard's been playing 5-on-5. Why do I take that so serious? Because just last season in the playoffs, if y'all remember, Kawhi Leonard, when he tore his ACL, a lot of people thought it was he had sprained his his knee. It was a knee sprain. That was what was being reported, to the masses, was a knee sprain. That's what the Clippers were saying. Skip Bayless was the first person to come out and reveal and report the single next day that no, it's a torn ACL, not major, but it's minor. They're gonna need some cleanup surgery based off the resources that he found out, with the Clippers. Now, that's very interesting because, like I said, you can't get too close to Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't allow people to get close to him. So for him to get that type of news means he has some reliable sources out there. And who those sources are, I do not know. But Skip Bayless got him because he revealed it before Adrian Wojnarowski, for Shams Charisma, before Chris Haynes, Chris Broussard, Usmic, like any of the big time sports reporters. He announced it, so you gotta give Skip Bayless credit. So now when he said stuff about Kawhi Leonard, I'm actually more keened in. So when he said about Kawhi Leonard playing 5-on-5, I'm like, well, that's kind of a little bit of a head scratcher because usually when you play basketball and you playing 5-on-5, like it's hard to do that with no contact. You're gonna touch a person sometimes on defense. You might whatever. Like you gonna get to the basket, you might have to, pull up and shoot a shot. Somebody might tap your hand or tap your arm or something like that. Like, how do you play 5-on-5 with no contact? Unless it's just you're just doing all situation scenario stuff and you're not really going on a real 5-on-5 actual scrimmage. That's the only way I can see it. But even then, that doesn't make really no sense. You might as well just put them in contact at that point because what do you can't determine how the game is gonna go when you actually play it. Like you can't act like it's a planned thing. Okay, nobody touched Kawhi Leonard at all. Like you might as well just put him in contact situation. You know what I'm saying? So that was very, very weird to me. So that basically just confirmed again once I was saying that excuse me, fix this. Um that Kawhi Leonard really, there's stuff that they're not telling the public. They're keeping something under wraps right now. I believe they have the update on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, what they're going to do. But they're not going to let everybody else know because Paul George, again, was supposed to be getting an evaluation on his elbow. Now, call me crazy, but I've been seeing Paul George. He looked good in his shooting workout they posted a couple weeks ago. I've been seeing his little IG videos. He was playing tennis with his daughter yesterday. And the degree of, if it's a torn UCL in your elbow, like he's doing all these things, but yet they're saying they're being cautious about it. My whole thing is just why not just go ahead and put him in contact situation? Because it's like at this point, it's like you're doing all the activities that require using your right elbow. So that's why I'm saying I feel like they've already been doing. They already have a plan set up for Kawhi and PG. They're just not releasing it to the public. But people who actually, with their eyes, are paying attention, they're seeing like what's going on. Like you're shooting jump shots with your right elbow. You were playing tennis with your daughter yesterday. You're doing all these things that, require you to use the strength of your arm, but yet you're not clear for contact. Same thing with Kawhi Leonard. You're not clear for contact, but you're playing 5-on-5. It would be different if you playing 1-on-1, 2-on-2. You might just be going through a couple of, scenarios. That's a little bit understandable. 5-on-5, no, you're going to most likely get touched at some point of the game if it's a scrimmage. So the Kawhi and Paul George, the Clippers are they're not telling us what's really going on. So you have to use your own discretion. And another thing about Ty Lue, everything that they keep asking about him about these two is always I don't know, or I haven't heard nothing, or they gonna need more time, or we'll see. Like it's never a definite answer. And I believe Ty Lue knows exactly what's going on, but he's not gonna tell nobody, and nor should he. That's not really up our business. So I said really pay attention between March 22nd and April 1st. Something is going to happen. Like these are the two. This organization will be crazy enough to announce that on the day of that these two are coming back, and that is what I feel is going to happen because you haven't ruled these two out for the season yet, and the entire basketball world is wondering what are you guys doing? Like Jamal Murray was signed to a G League team, the Denver Nuggets G League team yesterday. Or the last couple of days. Michael Porter Jr., been saying that he has potential of coming back. So They've been people actually throughout the NBA who's been going through injuries. You actually know something that the progression that they're making. But the Clippers, how they move again, they don't allow people to tell them and dictate when they want to reveal certain things. But the fact that you haven't ruled these two out shows me that you're trying to build them back to come back to the team. If you feel like they're not coming back at all, you might as well just announce and say they're not coming back. No point of holding that back. Like it's gonna happen at some point, so you might as well just be upfront with the public. But these two definitely, you're not going to be holding off this amount of time and then say, "Oh, I'm not coming back." These guys are coming back, man. These two are coming back. Watch what I say. But continue to follow us on social media: YouTube, Spotify, Iheartradio, Twitter, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Pull up, see, pull up, chat, pull up. Peace. Out like swimwear.